Oh, I'm live. Hey everyone, it is Dana from the Modern Mom Lounge. Thank you for joining me on this fall Thursday evening. We're in South Florida, so it doesn't really feel like fall, but we're getting there. I feel like it's almost there. I hope you guys are having a great evening. I just scarfed down my meal, but I'm so excited to introduce you to our next guest live in the lounge that we will be chatting with. We actually have the honor, I'm so excited that my sister Jami is going to be co-interviewing with me. Actually, she's going to be asking the questions because she has them. But I'm so excited. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to our next guest. Her name is Nicole Rosen. I met her. It's almost like things happen for a reason and you meet people for a reason. And this is totally how our friendship began. I don't think I feel like that was the best thing that I got out of this situation. I was working for a client and I got to meet this wonderful, giving, heart bigger than the world person that is so talented and so caring and giving. And you're going to get a little dose of her this evening. She is a certified health coach. I'm going to let her introduce herself because she's like, instead of a Jack, she's like a Jill of all trades, like Tabata. She does everything. And her laugh is infectious. She's so caring. So first, let me bring on Jam, my fabulous sister.
Come on.
What?
I'm not backstage anymore.
You're on. You're live. So, I told everyone that you're going to ask the questions.
Okay, I heard that. So I pulled up yours too.
No, I'm excited because I'm glad that we get to interview together. And what's kind of fun sorry, Nicole, she's in the background there. Before we bring Nicole on, I introduced Jami to Nicole and it was like kissing it with them also. So it's kind of cool that we're all besties. Hold on one second. So now what I am going to do is introduce Nicole. Hold on one second. Let me get up here. Here we go. Okay, let me. Hey!
I want to cry from your intro. That was so cool.
It was completely 110% from the heart. So.
Well, I feel the same way, and obviously, just like you said it, I couldn't be with two better people, most inspiring, empowering, incredible humans that I get to call my friends. So I'm very grateful for the opportunity, and I'm excited. Hopefully, we'll be able to help some people today.
I totally think we will, because I think people, once they get to know you and you dig into how you deal with stress and how you teach other people stress and how to integrate wellness and things like that, it's a good thing.
Okay, cool.
So yes, give us an intro.
Exactly. So it's weird to not see anybody else but you, but hey. So I'm Nicole, and Dana already kind of explained a little bit, but I have to apologize for my voice. Those of you, I have swollen vocal cords, so I'm not struggling to speak. I just sound like Mickey Mouse most of the time.
Hard is too much.
All right. Well, so basically, I am formally a teacher. I taught second grade for 10 years. I have a passion for children. That is definitely a soulful calling for me. But about 15 years ago, I saw that kids weren't getting enough exercise. That's when the technology era was really coming into play, as well as the obesity epidemic, which kind of were going hand in hand. And I used to be a dancer, and I loved it as a kid, but I had a ton of body image issues from poor teachers and a crazy upbringing. And my goal as a teacher was I just really wanted to build self-esteem and encourage children like to be the best versions of themselves and express in the best way possible. So I kind of went to my principal and I asked if I could start teaching dance classes in the school system for free. And she was like, it's free, sure. So I went in and like 150 kids signed up, and I was like, wow, like this is insane. And I remember going home to my husband and saying, dude, like if 150 kids sign up, what do you think this would look like if I turned it into a business? So slowly but surely the next year I went, and I made it a paid program, and we've just evolved. And for the past 15 years, I basically teach dance in the school system. We're in about 50 different schools between Palm Beach and Broward County. And in the mix of all that, just because I love nutrition, and obviously that's my, another passion of mine, and wellness, I went to school about, I guess, 11 years ago to become a health coach. And then I became a hormone specialist. And I just kind of really focus on bringing awareness to busy moms who are so busy worrying about their kids and their lives and not themselves, to kind of create some balance and make it more of like a family unit. So we're taking care of the kids, we're taking care of the moms, and just kind of building this whole insular dynamic so that we could be the best versions of ourselves.
Right. And I will give I'll give a little plug out. Nicole's company, her exercise dance company is called Misfit Inc. And if you're in South Florida and you're like me, I don't know, I get all excited when I see your magnet on the back of cars. I'm like, oh my God, I saw another one. They're all over. It is such a popular dance class for kids. And I mean, we'll talk about it a little bit later, how you totally were able, you jumped right on the pivoting bandwagon with COVID. So we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Okay.
But so Senorita Jami.
Yes.
Hi.
So when I think about, your sort of what drove you, Nicole, to do this and what we talk about every week in the lounge, there's so much going on. We're so overwhelmed as moms, as women, wives, partners, whatever. How do you, where do you even begin to integrate wellness into like your family's lifestyle, particularly if you're not someone that's even mastered it yourself?
Right. Great question. Obviously right now is a whole other echelon because there's so much uncertainty. And, as moms, some are literally, we're teachers, we're custodians, we're nurses, we're everything.
Right.
So a lot of times it's a very hard thing to make the personal commitment to yourself. So I always say that's number one. Like you can't, there's no price tag on your own health. So when we're in that stressful moment and we're sort of seeing lack of balance, you have to kind of stop, take a breath, and say, if I'm not good for me, then I'm not going to be good for my family or my friends or my job. So I think as a coach, my job is to kind of hone in on that first and kind of create awareness of what is going on in our lives and what is creating that imbalance so that we can really focus on it and kind of declutter it, as I say, shake it off. So in my family, we've had a lot of ups and downs, a lot of craziness going on in the past few years. And it really just is about being a little selfish and knowing that it's okay to take care of yourself, self-care. Unfortunately, there's such a negative viewpoint that if you choose to not have dinner with your family and take a yoga class or go have happy hour with your friends, that you're sacrificing that time for your family, but you're not, because those things are what builds us up and makes us better in what we do. So I think we have to really take that time to cultivate for ourselves. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that the guilt is always there. And so it's, helping us alleviate that and understanding that it starts with us. And then we can also be role models, for everyone in our family and other people that are important to us.
Sure. And guilt is a wasted emotion because, again, like there's nothing that we could do other than be authentic to ourselves. So you have to look at guilt and again, shake it off, because you got to be you. And if you own your choice and what you're doing, there shouldn't be any guilt because you're being authentic to it. And whoever that person is in your life, if they love you and they're coming from no judgment, then they're going to get that. So a friend of mine on a side note posted the story today about growing up and being like ridiculed and looked as different. And I thought it was so empowering because the way I see that is all those people just passed judgments because she was different and they didn't understand it. And when we're coming from that place, 99% of judgment comes from people that just aren't authentic or they don't understand. And it's just a lot easier to judge them than to get to know them or understand that topic more.
Yeah, that makes total sense. I think with, you described lots of crazy things going on, in your household and we all can relate to that. But now the world outside of us has just presented us with something completely different on how to reprioritize and timing, and to your point of like, all the roles that we play. What is something that you've done for yourself differently because of COVID and just the way of the world right now?
I have a few things. So first and foremost, gratitude. So we all hear it. It's a term. I actually have it tattooed on my arm as a reminder. First tattoo, and very grateful for it. But the reason is that, in these types of times when things are nuts, we're always honing in on the negative. We're stuck. Poor me. Why me? Why is this happening? What's going on in the world? And sometimes it's just really nice to be reflective that even in that toxicity or that discomfort, that there's lessons that come from that. And so sometimes you have to actually like be grateful for the negativity and what comes out of it. 90% of the time when we're stuck, something better is on the other end, whatever it is, whether it's in your career, whether it's in your relationships. But we're so often like stay in our comfort zone or stay in that zone. And if you don't kind of take a breath and look at the gratitude around you, you're going to miss it. So the first thing I do is every night I have a gratitude journal and I just write 3 things. Sometimes it's really clear, maybe somebody did something and then I recognized it, or it's just an experience. Sometimes it's literally like, thank you for the air that I'm breathing today, or thank you for that tree that I just noticed outside my house for the first time. So it's just about recognizing what's around you and how we can bring that into our heart. So that's number one. The second thing, which is kind of like a secret in my coaching, so I'm letting you guys all know, I call it my 5 categories to happiness. So there's 5. First one is spiritual. Spiritual doesn't mean like woo woo, like you have to go to temple or church or yoga classes. Spiritual could be that, but it could be reading a self-help book. It could be journaling. It could be your gratitude journal. It could be doing something ritualistic. You have a happy hour with a friend every week at a certain time. It could be drinking your favorite tea. It's something that like fills you in that way. That's number 1. Number 2, emotional. Not like ooh, emotional. Emotional means it's a hobby that you would do alone. So for me, I started playing tennis. Never played tennis ever in my life. Wanted to, but never did it. So no one does it with me. It's just me and my coach. So it's about finding something. It could be knitting. It could be
Singing.
What is it?
Singing.
I'm a dancer, so I can't use dance, but like it could be taking a dance class. It could be just discovering something new and creative, a cooking class, like something that you do for yourself. So look at how that's fulfilling. Next thing is social life. COVID kind of sucks right now, but we could do Zoom calls. You could call a friend. Obviously, when things are normal, stepping outside of your comfort zone, making plans with friends, doing something that just builds you up. Make sense?
Yeah.
Next category, family. That fills our cup. So doing something with your family, whether it's dinners, it could be, going on a vacation, it could be going for a bike ride, of that nature. And the last one I'm missing. So what did I say? Physical, is exercising or movement of some sort. Like research shows that exercise helps create endorphins, and that's like our pleasure. That's what makes us happy. So it could be going on a walk, it could be taking a class, it could be walking upstairs, whatever you need to do to get your body moving so that you feel that pleasure center. And if you can concentrate on those 5 categories, I like to do it daily, but sometimes that's hard. Weekly, you will start to feel a shift. And I know it seems like a lot, but if you really hone in, it's really honestly the most life-changing thing. And you could change your family too, like they do it with you. And each participant has this like awakening. So I find that that's like a tool that I use, and I really try to put it out there for my clients. And I find that it really does help us fill some of those voids or just make us feel more fulfilled all around.
Yeah, those are some really great ideas. And you can get organized around it. And they're all things we're probably trying to get done, but if we can commit to it, and even say, half the week and then start to build to it, I feel like that would make a huge difference for people.
Sure, baby steps in anything that we do. Some people like myself and Dana and really you too, James, is like we're type A. So like I'm gonna go, I want to do what I want to be the best. I gotta get it done. But
Right.
everybody's different. And so maybe you can commit there's 5 categories, one day a week.
Right.
You know,
Great
focusing
idea.
on that.
Yeah.
Right. So there's just different, it's all about awareness for you, mindfulness, how that works in your schedule. We're all bio individuals. So what works for one may not work for the other, but it's about, you know, taking those tools in the long run to help you be less stressed, be more fulfilled. Because what I've learned, and Jami and I, you and I talk about this a lot, that when you're like in your head and you're like stuck, you have a tendency to stay in that energy field,
Yeah.
right? And so when you shift that a little bit, if you could just look at something a different way, we start to forget about some of that negativity. Think about when you're like the most happiest in your life. None of that other shit matters. You know, you've got
Right.
the best sex, the best boyfriend, the best this, whatever. But the reality is because you're fulfilled in so many other ways.
It
When
does.
you're feeling shitty, everything's shitty.
Right. I
Sorry
can
for
definitely.
my profanity. I hope there's nothing.
I don't know. I was going to ask Dana, is that allowed? I'm just kidding.
Don't worry, I'm
Third.
with you.
What happens in the lounge stays in the lounge until she puts it out there on social media. You mentioned like a lot of this is about taking care of ourselves and setting an example for our family and more specifically our kids for a second. But what, you know, it might be hard for a child to understand how all these things, it's hard for us to implement them for ourselves just because we're busy, but I think we all understand everything you're describing as something that's going to make us better. What are some of your tips for how you talk about it with your children, like the importance of wellness, how it spans all these different factors?
Okay. So agreed, can be a challenging topic, but just as you said before, we are role models. So, and even as an educator, you know, your goal is to model that behavior. So it could be simplistic. I mean, doing gratitude, you could sit next to your child. You guys first can go to the store and buy a super cute notebook or something that, or make it an arts and crafts project where they get to create something that's special to them. And then you sit down as a family and everybody has to write 3 things that they're grateful for, and maybe you share it, you know, and that becomes a connection thing that you could do with your family. Mindfulness, huge. I mean, we're under so much stress for our children. You know, the last thing I could do is get my kid to like meditate. I don't know that she's really like has that awareness, but it's about breath, you know, teaching her that sometimes when we're feeling overwhelmed, taking 3 deep breaths through your nose, out through your mouth, it just like totally calms you down and brings you back to homeostasis. Those are easy things for kids to do. Going out and riding a bike or going on a walk. I mean, you just have to take those concepts that I shared and just minimalize them a little bit and bring them down to a kid level. Cooking. I love that. That's another family unit. So you're sort of educating your kids on making healthier choices. You're doing something connected, but that's meditative because guess what? You're not thinking about your test or your BS. You're looking at the recipe. So you're only focused on that. So that creates like some mindfulness. So I don't know that I really answered the question, but it's kind of about taking those items that I shared or anything that we know as parents that help us calm down and just, you know, breaking it down into easier pieces for our kids to digest. And there's varying ages. Like my kid's 10, she understands what meditation is. So she could go into her room and sit quietly for, you know, 3 minutes,
Right.
even if she had to listen to something guided. But maybe a 5-year-old, that would be challenging, but they may like to bake or they may want to go on a walk. Another cool thing, this is like another favorite thing of mine. I'm all over the place. It's called a color walk. So this is life changing. And that will be my homework for everybody that's on to do. So kind of meditate if you're going to go for a walk and you pick a color. So the first time I did this, it was orange. I picked like some random weird color. And that means that when you go outside, all your awareness is only on that color. I literally walked out the front door and there was like an orange hibiscus tree that I've never even noticed. It was right there. And then I just started walking and I was like, oh, there's an orange door. Oh my gosh, there's, you know, an orange car, whatever it is. So those, and you could change the color every day. And then it could be, you know, maybe it's a fire hydrant that you're looking for. But the goal is you're going on a walk with your child and you guys are creating this awareness of just being in the moment, in the present moment. So that's another like de-stressor.
That's like a really like a
Easy.
fun one, easy one. You can walk, so you're getting exercise. You're accomplishing two things potentially.
Yeah, you're building the endorphins. You're meditating. You're feeling so much. There's the family piece.
Your connection.
There's the physical piece. There's
Yeah.
the emotional piece. I mean, you're not alone, but you're doing something for yourself. So you see how it all ties in when you have the awareness.
Yeah. Really good.
Yeah.
What for yourself is like, if you look ahead the next 6 to 12 months, I know we don't really know what that looks like, but for you personally, what are some of your goals?
Yikes. I mean, personal development is really important to me. So I like to take a lot of courses and things that enhance those topics that I discussed. You know, it isn't always just academic. So I definitely have a couple things that I'm looking into that, you know, just kind of focus on, you know, healing and empowerment and just kind of getting into a more empowered part of myself. As much as I like, Dana really kind of summarized my best and my curse and my best quality is that I'm a giver, and I really have to kind of hone back in on
Giving to yourself.
giving myself,
Yeah.
because I'm giving to so many people sometimes, and it's just hard to you know, do it for me. So I think that I'm kind of prioritizing that, recognizing that I'm the creator of my own happiness, that I can't depend on others to do that as much as sometimes you want them to.
Right.
So figuring out ways to have fun in my life, whatever that looks like, so that I don't find myself getting, if COVID keeps going on and, you know, we're not seeing some changes, that I know that I have control of these emotions so that I don't get like bogged down with that.
Yeah.
So personal development, making myself happy, and you know, making sure that I can figure out ways to kind of have some fun no matter what's going on.
Great.
Yeah.
Sounds like you have a plan.
Like, I know.
What
would you do? Like, Dee, what's your, if
Gonna
she was to ask you the same question?
What's my plan? I mean, it's really,
Oh,
I mean, I don't want to consider the past 6 or 8 months of COVID being practice for what's coming in the future, but I feel that I've learned so much about myself and my boundaries and how much I can withstand, and, you know, when I need to just start to take care of myself and to stop being the enabler, for lack of better terms. So my goal is to try to instill it in the kids too, because it's like, it's not PJ, it's a shit show. So I would like to instill it in the boys, and help my husband as well. You know, like just try to like, I don't know, breathe.
Yeah. Take 3 of them. It's hard.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
I learned box breathing in my meditation one with Gwen. I've been practicing that.
That's awesome. What about you, James?
I mean, I think similar to you, personal development has definitely been a focus for the last few months, but even as I look ahead, thinking about goals that I have that will not be impacted if we don't have control over the world going back to normal, that I can still learn and engage in, you know, something new and building a skill. And so putting things in place that I'm excited for and looking forward to, that if things change, great. But I also will be accomplishing something that I have control over. And I think it's the same, you know, with my kids. I do feel like there's like a level of, okay, we've already been through so much. We can keep going. We're going to be okay. We've gotten through this far. We're going to, being safe is number one, being healthy, and how are we, you know, changing what fun looks like, what wellness looks like, how we satisfy ourselves. Like, it really challenged everyone to slow down, and think about the things that make us happy, because the things that were making us happy before are not accessible anymore. And so it's really caused a lot of self-reflection for me. And then, you know, I could see it in my kids as well. More of my daughter than my sons.
Agreed. And actually, as you guys were talking, like different things were coming in my mind. Like, first of all, resiliency. You know, we don't give ourselves enough credit. We all, throughout all of this have recognized how resilient our kids are and ourselves. What you were saying too, like, no matter what happens, whether COVID lasts 5 more years, God bless us, but we're all now pivoting, we're shifting our mindset to figure out ways to incorporate things that we did before, but in new ways. And that's exciting, right? Like game nights or, whatever, going and having picnics on the beach. Maybe it seems so crazy, but we're all figuring out ways. And what's nice about that is some of them don't cost any money. So now you're targeting different socioeconomic statuses where maybe other people couldn't do some of those things. So there is that silver lining in this, that we've all like taken a pause, we've reevaluated, everyone's kind of maybe taking new passion purposes in their job, completely leaving their jobs, discovering new things. So there is like a real blessing here, as hard as it is sometimes to see, which goes back to the gratitude. So I don't know. I think that you just got to surround yourself around good people with similar value systems. Not everybody, is going to jive with you, but that's okay. But remembering that if you don't take the time, like I said, selfishly for yourself, that none of these things are going to matter. And again, it's okay, to be that way and not, and to be authentic. And if someone calls you out on it, be like, no. Like, that's self-care. And you need to do that too for yourself. Right. 99 of the people that are calling you out are the ones that really need the help.
That need it. Yeah. I think through all of this too, we've learned, like you were saying, gratitude and appreciation, and kind of like realizing what we have and not being, be appreciative for what we have, because it's such a materialistic, crazy world that now, it allowed us, unfortunately, but fortunately, COVID, to take a step back, like you said, and get back into nature and go to the beach and go for walks, like do it. So,
and we haven't even talked about like nutrition, which we'll maybe do that another one, but that's so important now too, that families are taking time to cook and do things together, because finances are different. So, it's really, like I said, it's created a lot of awareness in different areas that people may not have even wrapped their head around, 8 months ago. So so even in this craziness, we can have some gratitude for COVID, right? For all the great things that it has done for us, even though there's a ton of shit, but there is some good stuff that has come out of it. And the resiliency, as I was saying, for our kids, we're teaching them, like, they're young. Now they're going to grow up in this world, having this experience and being better for it and learning to survive or to pivot, using this terminology that, like, what, I'm a dancer, pivot means turning. Like, that's the only thing I know. But now it's like part of my everyday conversation, because I got to keep pivoting in my job every goddamn day. So, like, we're teaching our children this way, which is going to really enhance, I think, their level of survival skills, in years to come. So some blessings there.
I agree. It's already 7:28.
I know.
I think we could talk for like hours.
Well, that's because it's like three besties just having a deep conversation.
This is the only way we can make sure we have plans.
But that fills the social life bucket.
You're right.
Yeah.
So I don't know who's on, but you have that homework. And I was going to say one more thing that Jamie was reminding me. So the homework is trying to do those 5 categories. But the other homework, which I like listen to Tony Robbins every once in a while. I know he's super hokey, but I really love and respect this dude. So I don't remember what it was. It was about change or something for 2020. And he had a really cool project. So the first thing you do is you've got to write, like, it could be a letter to yourself, or just write down, like, one thing that's really, like, frustrating you right now. Like, it could be a relationship, it could be your job, fulfilling job, whatever it is. Write all the shit out about it. Get it all out that you're feeling, because this is just for you. And then you have to write what it is that's prevented you from, like, being in that situation, like what you've not done to make that situation better. So you hone in on that. Then the second piece is flipping that switch and now saying, what do I want? Now what does that look like? Regurgitating all that out, make it your alternate universe, however you want to look at it, your dream scenario. And then what are the skills that you need to do to make yourself accountable to get there? So you're focusing on the negative and what's preventing you from change. and now you're getting to that positive and what you have to do to get there. I thought that was so profound.
Yeah.
It totally is.
Yeah. Do it.
I'm going to do it.
All three of us. Let's hold ourselves accountable.
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm going to do my color walk. I'm actually really excited for that.
Text me. I want to hear all about it. And then again, like I'm happy. This is like my jam. So, you know, I would love to do this more, give education on mindset, nutrition. Obviously, I appreciate you plugging, you know, Misfit. Like, that's my passion. I just want to help people. But we focus on, you know, this type of stuff, which helps us make better choices in how we eat and just be better people.
Totally. We definitely will be talking about wellness and healthy eating and so on in the coming months. You will be on more and more. Because
after the holidays when people really need to.
Yeah, exactly. Or maybe to do it like right before the holiday, like right before we start to gorge.
How to survive.
Sure. But that's a mindset too. Like we can't, we see like that's already an emotional attachment that we're creating.
I can do it
based on holidays. Like that shouldn't matter. No. So that's something, you know, like, and that's kind of the things I focus on is, you know, just kind of taking all these different parts of this wheel and honing in on it and breaking those habits. Because when it really becomes like a lifestyle and you start to have an awareness of what that looks like, we won't even have to have that type of conversation. Ooh, it's Christmas. Ooh, it's Hanukkah. It's Thanksgiving. Who cares? Eat the way you're supposed to eat.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I live for you too. This was awesome.
This is so fun. I want to do our speed questions though, because I read everyone. Okay, my dear, coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Everyone responds that way. It's so funny. They're like, hello, coffee.
Yeah, I mean, I like a tea in the evening, but like coffee.
Coffee.
I can ask you a quick question that's so not related. So I intermittent fast. Can I put any milk in my coffee in the morning?
Not first thing in the morning because you're breaking the fast.
Okay.
But you can look into, there's a new kind of craze. It's like MCT. I'll send it to you, but there are pods that are keto and they have like MCT oil in it and a couple other things that give it that creamy consistency and it doesn't break your fast, but it's an acquired taste.
Oh, God. I'll stick to my black coffee.
Yeah. Black coffee is good.
Okay, so red or white wine?
Come on, you can answer that for me.
I know, red. I'm like, I know, red. What's your favorite flower?
Look, can you see them in the corner? Wait, hold on. Right there. Hydrangea. Hydrangea. This is my thing. I love hydrangeas. Those are one of my favorites. And I like peony. Like, I just love
peanuts.
Great.
Like big. I love that. Okay, so if you're not dancing, teaching people how to eat well, wellness, et cetera, what are you doing?
What is my workouts?
No, like what's like your hobby? Like your work actually is your job. So you kind of do it day in and day out. But if you weren't doing all of that, what would you be doing?
Trying to play more tennis. I really do enjoy it. And honestly, I like to read and which I don't have a lot of time for. And my newest thing, which is ridiculous that I'm even wasting my time doing this, making mass chains. I like beading. So yeah, I would show them all. They're behind me. I've been making with Eden, and Eden Mark's been doing it. Like I put people's names on it.
Oh, that's fun.
All these different beads. I like style them out. So that's kind of crafty. It's another like mindless thing. So
that's a good idea.
But it's like meditating too, because you're like getting the beads on and.
Yeah. So again, it's like another mindfulness thing. And then I get to be creative because I'm picking different color schemes. And I mean, Amazon comes every day, which I'm sure Mark's not thrilled about, but I love I'm getting all different beads and, Dina, sorry. So this is so terrible. Nordstrom will probably put me out of business, but the little word things, you know, I've been making these. So Eden has been making them for herself that say brave and confident, and it inspired me because she's wearing them. So I've just been making those too.
Good. I want some. Okay.
I'll make them for you.
For dinner. When we go to dinner. Okay. So what's your favorite quote?
If you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Wayne Dyer. Best quote.
Oh, that's awesome.
So good.
And do you have a favorite book or author that you would recommend?
Yikes. I like Paulo Coelho. I mean, I love like The Alchemist. I love The Four Agreements. I mean, they're all different genres. I'm a self-help, like junkie on personal development. I just finished Untethered Soul, which is really great. I mean, I love Simon Sinek, Start With Your Why. Like, that's kind of my jam. I don't really know that there's one specific person that I love.
No,
Back in the day, it would be Judy Blume when I was a kid.
I know. So good. Judy Blume was definitely my favorite author.
Yeah. I mean, best ever. So yeah, I just really, it's kind of Eckhart Tolle. Like, it just depends on what is kind of happening in my life and what I'm drawn to. But usually in that genre.
Okay. So where can people find you on social?
Misfit Inc. is my Instagram handle, same as Facebook. And then our website is misfitinc.com. I don't know if you can chat it or put it in your whatever the thing is here.
And I saw your new logo.
Oh yeah, so that was a COVID change, right? Like, stock couldn't do anything, so I completely rebranded and elevated our logo, which we've been using for 16 years. So now I have more of and this is so UD, like, you know, I have a mood board, like colors. I never did any of that stuff. Like, I was just a girl that had a dream and just loved dancing and kids, and I had no business background. Like, I don't know how to do spreadsheets, none of that stuff. And, now I do, but I just thought it was time for like a revamping. So we've done that, and we revamped our whole website. So now it's catered towards dance, and then there's a wellness piece too. And our newest thing, which I shouldn't really talk about, but I guess I can say it, is we're working on we're launching a online platform for moms and kids that you can dance at home. So it's called Misfit Go, and it basically will be a membership with all different genres of dance, and you can create your warm-ups and your cool downs and all different styles of dance, and there'll be workouts in there too. So hopefully that'll be like a new thing, and will be a way for us to kind of expand outside of our local community so that they can get the true Misfit feel.
That's amazing.
That's great.
You rock.
Let's pray on that one, because it's a lot of work and it's a dream, and I'm just manifesting that it works. But it's to get my staff together to film and edit, like, it's crazy, but it's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
It's happening.
Yeah. So, and you'll all get like access to it. I'll do trial weeks for anybody that's in the Modern Lounge. We'll do something to give them some exposure. And again, it'll be just a fun way, and we'll keep revamping it every month so that there's new content. But right now I just got to get content. Period.
Baby steps, babe. Baby steps.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for joining.
Yes, so good.
This was so much fun. We'd love to do this again, but we should probably do this with like wine offline one night.
Oh my gosh, yes. That has to happen. It just sucks because you and I could do that, Dee, but like.
Well, when I'm there, we could do it outside.
All right, you're coming down in like 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
All right, so date for us 3.
We have a date.
Yes.
We're doing self-care.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're gonna go on color walks with our red wine, coffee. We're gonna be mindful like gurus. We're gonna make it all happen.
We'll write about it on the blog.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
It's been an honor to be with the 2 most special people, and I hope that anybody that was on, found something that I said that resonated to them and pushes them towards making even the smallest of change. That's a win.
Oh, love you.
I love you.
Bye, love.
Bye.
Bye.
Next
Bye,
round.
love you.
Love you.